Hello everyone, a very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all. Myself Vaibhav. I welcome all of you to today's session of Visual JForex, in which we will try to wrap up the algorithmic formation using the indicator, acceleration, deceleration, oscillator, along with the time segmented volume. So this is going to be the combination of the two indicators. So let us now head to the Visual JForex board, which has been developed by the Dukascopy Bank SA. In the last two sessions, I had explained to you how we can get the instrument subscription done where the Euro USD was being used as the instrument of choice. Afterward, the position amount was defined at zero. Then I had added these three acceleration, deceleration, oscillator blocks with the candle period of hourly and the look back period of 1, 2, and 3 respectively. To consider the time segmented volume data, we have these two hourly TVS indicator blocks in place with the look-back period of 1 and 2 respectively. We are also going to consider the price volatility. For that, we have these info candles of get historical candle. First is being hourly and later two are of 10 seconds each. And on the lower side, we have this formation in place, which was done to get the buy side of the equation correct. Here we have this trade command block. So if these conditions are fulfilled, we get the trade command for a buy trade placed at the market price with these defined parameters. The stop loss being 20 pips and take profit being 30 pips. Now we have to build a mirror image of this. It is going to be a symmetric formation. So whatever the conditions which we needed for the execution of the buy trade, more or less those same conditions will be inverted. So we now get started with the day for getting the execution of the sale side in place. I will give you a brief refresher of what the logic is going to be. The logic is going to be fairly simple. We want to be trading with the trend. For that, we are going to rely on the time segmented volume data to get us the trend right. For the bearish trend, we will need these TVS output value to be in the negative territory, and also it needs to be in decline. So time segmented volume will provide us with the trend, and after that we need some correction to have happened, and for that, we are going to rely on this AC2 indicator output. It should have risen in the second last hour compared to the third last hour, and then it should start to decline in the last hour. So the AC output will be compared over last 3 hours. First, it should have risen, and after that, whenever it starts to fall, the execution will go through. That's the logic keys for this AC2 indicator. And the order will be placed at the current market prices provided the last hourly candle close is below the opening price. So that's what we need. There is this condition that the price move should be sustained in the last 1 hour, so we will need this closing value to be lower than the opening price. That's about it. Now we have to get the uh, instruments formation in place for the execution of the sale trade. As I said, there is going to be a symmetrical formation. So the number of if blocks will be the same for the sale side as well, which means we have to utilize 11 of if blocks, and then afterward there is one trade command block. So I will get started with the logical blocks first. I will get 11 of these in place. Coming to the first condition, we need the TVS output to be on the lower side, to be in the negative territory. So the both these TVS values have to be below zero. First input TVS 13 needs to be less than second input, first input less than second input, and same case will have to be repeated here. Again TVS 19 less than 0, again first input less than second input. Sorry, this actually we have to consider the comparison between TVS 13 and TVS 19 first. It should be in decline. Again first input less than second input. Then we need the AC2 indicator output values to be on the positive side. So we will need last 3 hours, positive 12, positive 17 and positive 18. All these three values to be above 0. So first input equals, not equals, it should be greater than 0 actually. First input greater than second input. Again first input greater than second input. Then again first input greater than second input. Then we have to compare these values in between. So we need last hour's positive 12 to be less than positive 17. First input less than second input. Whereas in the prior hour it should have risen. So we need positive 17 to have been greater than positive 18. First input greater than second input. Then we need the closing value of last hourly candle to be less than the opening price. So we need to consider the candle 20's closing and opening price. First input less than second input. Okay, so I feel we have defined deceleration oscillator and the time segmented volume. So let me arrange these blocks in place. It won't take much time, just few seconds more. Now the execution point for the trade order is going to be the last hour's closing value. As soon as price starts to drop below the last hour's closing value, the execution needs to take place. That means we have to take the last hour's closing value, which is candle 20 candle close, and compare it with the last two 10-second blocks of candle 21st and candle 22nd. So I will take this as the common input. Candle 21st, candle close, it needs to have been less as it was the last 10-second candle, whereas candle 22nd, it should have closed on the higher side. Now let us get the trade command block, open at market. First input greater than second input. After that, there is going to be a sale trade. Now coming to defining of the input parameters for this trade command block. As the formation is symmetric, we have to make sure that the stop loss and take profit matches with the stop loss and take profit we had kept for the buy side. So this will be in the risk reward ratio of 2:3. The default instrument remains as it is. Trade amount I will change to 0.1 million. Slippage for Euro USD 2 pips is good enough. After that, we get the risk reward ratio of 2:3 with the stop loss of 20 pips and take profit of 30 pips. Now I will join it to the second flow. Alright, and to make sure that the iteration flow is going till the very end, I have color coded it and let us have a look. Yes, it is working all fine. So with this, our algorithm involving the acceleration, deceleration oscillator and the time segmented volume is complete. And for carrying out any testing, you will need the JForex platform's assistance. You can test it for many months, and if you feel like even for years. For further coverage of the market developments, do check out the Dukascopy Analytics page. We are also available on the Facebook. You can reach out to us there. All these useful links have been provided in the bio. Thank you all for joining in. See you next time around. Till then, goodbye.